Hello there. It's a delight to welcome you to your business review program, Economy Today. I am Zainab Obitin. In continuation of our special reports on the education sector, we will today focus on Wesley University of Science and Technology, Ondo, popularly referred to as WUSTO, one of the private-owned university in Nigeria that has the core values of seeking excellence, intellectual freedom, integrity, and high moral values for suitable qualified students. Above all is the establishment of the Museum of Natural History, which is indeed a sight to behold. It promises to be quite an insightful episode. Once again, thanks for joining us and stay tuned.
Education has been tipped by many as the vital force behind all healthy economies. Presently, the race to achieving education edge is the focus of all advanced and emerging economies of the world. Wesley University of Science and Technology, Ondo, is one private operator that is determined to join in this new journey that will usher Nigerians into a destination of enduring gain and fulfillment. Professor Tola Badejo is the visionary pioneer Vice Chancellor.
It is a science and technology university, the first privately owned science and tech university. But our approach to science and tech, or rather our interpretation of science, is not narrow. When you talk about science, people think it's physics, chemistry, biology. Now social scientists are all over the place, talking about what basic scientists invented. We have social and management sciences here. There's accounting, there's political science. So it's not just science in the strict sense of basic and applied science. So our approach to the real meaning of science is knowledge. And of course, science is everything. We are going to have a faculty of law soon, and it's going to be in a college of law. It's going to be called legal sciences. So it's a broad approach to this discipline of knowledge seeking that we call science.
Apart from the ambience, the school assures prospective students of a serene, safe learning environment, well-equipped library, Museum of Natural History. WUSTO, as the university is often referred to, also pays detailed attention to the moral upbringing of students.
Wesley University of Science and Technology belongs to Methodist Church Nigeria. The NUC gave the church operating license in 2007 on May 17. But the university didn't take up until a year after. I became the Vice Chancellor. I'm the pioneer Vice Chancellor. I became the Vice Chancellor on the 1st of April 2008. And we had our take-up ceremony on May 14, 2008, just 3 days before the license became a year old. One other unique thing about us is not just our specialization, is how we have blended moral regeneration with academic upbringing. Our students actually are tutored informally in morals. There is mark here for morals, and if you score 70, which is an excellent in academics, you have failed in morals. 70 is not a pass mark. So, and there's a way we have done it. If I have enough time, I'll tell you more about this. But it's a careful blend of moral regeneration. You know what the country has become, and we know the moral decadence in the society. And we don't want, in fact, that's one of the reasons why the idea of allowing private institutions, organizations to set up university is very imperative. But here, things that you would do with impunity in an old university and you get away with it, you will never get away with it there. Because the idea is to raise an army of youth that will be morally up there. And of course, you know that has implications on governance. Because by the time they become governors and heads of state, check their background. It is their background that will determine how good they will govern.
Given WUSTO's spirited efforts for quality education as well as its deep knowledge of the operating environment, emphasis is placed on decency in education and high moral standards to achieve set goals.
They must dress corporately. You cannot see the stomach button of any of my female students outside. There's penalty for indecent exposure of body parts.
The school has also put in place structures to forestall all forms of misconduct.
The education, there must be a kind of reorientation. Our students don't read, and that is why it affects their academics. It is garbage in, garbage out. If you give a student, a university student, an assignment, and you ask him or her to visit the internet at least, they will just copy somebody's work and paste it. So now, what we do sometimes is that we want to see it in longhand. Okay, you may visit the internet, collect information, but you just copy somebody's work and paste it. They are so lazy because they are busy doing other things.
For Professor Tola Badejo, more efforts should be geared towards a robust academic calendar alongside proper funding in a bid to produce well-rounded Nigerians and also check on ethical practice.
You can pump all the fund you need into a system, and yet there will still be problems. So it's not funding alone. It is your curriculum and the quality of delivery, the competence of it, the content of your curriculum must also be there. If you give funding and it's directed towards something non-productive, what do you do? Funding is not alone, but it's primary. It's something that must be in place before every other thing comes in place. So if we reach a situation whereby enough money is pumped into academics, then people will now see where the other problems are. Okay? You must have people that will manage the funds very well. Infrastructural development, capacity building, choice of courses, and all sorts of things there. And of course, it has to be a corruption-free environment. And how do you have a corruption-free environment? Is to make sure that whoever is caught is punished accordingly.
He also speaks on WUSTO's drive to curb examination malpractice and punishment for offenders.
In Wesley University, we hold morning devotions every Monday for 1.5 hours, 8 to 9:30. Lectures on Mondays starts at 10. 8 to 9:30, the chaplain will preach to them. Then after everything, I will now get up and give them some, they call it vice chancellor's charge, some philosophical quotable quotes on a theme for the month. And usually during the exam period, I also take them to town on the negative consequences of cheating to get anything in life. Here in West University, exam malpractice attracts what you call capital punishment, expulsion. If you are caught cheating, it attracts capital punishment. Just like some other things too, but this is the only one you have. If you are caught cheating, and I spend my time to try to educate them on why they don't have to cheat. People cheat because they are afraid of failure. And failure is actually not a negative thing. When you fail, you have a chance to improve on it. So your parents, if it's a bad parent now, that will scold his or her child for failing. My students know. I told them when my daughter wrote JAM for the first time and she scored below 200, I was more or less the one that felt it. A good parent should actually see that failure as his or her own failure, not scolding and abusing and all that. So once your child is not afraid of being scolded when he fails, then he will be very honest when he's doing exams. So you don't know, that's why you're here. But by the time you come in with microchips or whatever, if you are caught cheating in West University, you'll be expelled. And that is the only way to discourage people from cheating.
In the quest to raise a new generation of leaders through a broad-based qualitative education, WUSTO ensures that the students make a strong commitment to personal development and responsibility as the virtues of self-confidence, respect, and civil responsibility are instilled in them. Therefore, a tendency of cultism is checked from the outset.
There is no student in this university that I did not interview personally before giving letter of admission. After post-UME, we bring them in groups, maybe 10, 15, and we start asking them, give me your biodata, so. First, we look at those whose JAMB scores are not the same as, are not very close to their post-UTME scores. You can imagine somebody scoring 279 in UTME and not being able to score 100 in my home. So it means somebody wrote it for him. They say, come, confide in me. Who wrote the first one for you? So, and that is where you get people with tendencies towards cultism. Or somebody comes in and I look at his age, and he finished school 6 years ago. You must have been in a university. Why you do whatever? If there's no plausible reason, step aside. CSO, call that university. I want to know why. And we got people who have been expelled for court activities or something related. One came from a private university in Ibadan the other day. The owner of that private university is my friend. Right as he was in front of me, I just called my friend. As soon as I supplied the first name, he gave me the surname. Somebody is there that we are interviewing. He says, so, say, no, we caught him with a gun in his car. He had a loaded gun in his car. That's why we expelled him. That's not even a faith-based university. So right there, he stepped aside. So once you eliminate right from that, you have little problem. But now when you make a mistake and admit people with such tendencies, then you have to be proactive.
WUSTO is indeed determined to produce Nigerians with a unique education tailored to address the moral decadence in the society.
If you slap somebody in West University, you will be expelled. If you return the slap, both of you will go. I told them civilization started when men learned to settle quarrels with words of the mouth and not fists. Every average, I talk to them every Monday, and they know this. Every university student knows that, and it's very easy to interact. I even told them about classy insults. There's a way you can insult somebody and he thinks it's positive. Why are you being economical with the truth? Instead of saying you are a liar, you are a liar. Why are you being economical? So they have also classy that things that they can say to themselves. I say, oh, you are, but it will never lead to quarrel. It will never lead to assault. So it's not only cultism that we call there. And you see, once potential court members know, they won't even apply, because they know universities where they can operate freely. So there's zero cultism in Western University, and I think that is what this nation deserves.
In recent times, Nigeria has expressed a commitment to education in the belief that overcoming illiteracy and ignorance will form a basis for accelerated national development. And so at WUSTO, all students must meet the requirements for admission.
That's why I like what Professor Dibo Jende is doing now. This computer-based thing. If you see anybody criticizing it, it's because they have centers, special centers, where they help people to write and all that. That one is being, cut out now. There is a pass mark for JAMB. It is 180 over 400. Many universities say 200, simply because the crowd will be too much. As long as it's more than 180, no university will admit anybody that scores below that. So this thing about admitting people that are not qualified is not true. Or rather, it cannot work in this country. If you know any university that takes in somebody who does not have the required number of credits, who does not have the right JAMB pass mark, that person's letter of admission will not come from JAMB. And if he does not have a letter of admission from JAMB, he cannot go for UCO. So even if there's a university that admits somebody, gives that person a degree, by the time you are mobilizing for UCO, they will ask for his letter of admission. and they will cross-check with JAMB that it was actually admitted. And if you cannot go for UCO in this country, you cannot work for any registered organization, private and public. It's part of the law. So I think admitting people that are qualified in the university is still in place in this country.
Dr. Odusonya is the acting head of Department, Biological Sciences. She speaks on the Museum of Natural History.
In Wesley University, you can see we have a natural history museum. This particular place has served for both recreational and educative purpose. You know, we have a lot of students from Lagos all over coming to visit the Natural History Museum to see practically what they learned in theory, and it has been of great help. We also have a mini zoo. We have a lot of animals there. See a live crocodile, which is something you don't find in most institutions around. And we are developing a herbarium, where we have plants pressed, where people can come to authenticate the names of the plants they collect or the plants they are interested in.
The Museum of Natural History of WUSTO has now turned to a reference point for researchers who are desirous of more knowledge about animals and plants. Marvin Daniels tells us more about the museum.
The mini zoo. So we call it mini zoo because it's still coming up, and when it exceeds the size you're seeing, you can call it zoo. These are animals in captivity. As long as you've deprived them of their freedom, so you have to make sure that they are well satisfied and they are well fed. So we are going to start their process of feeding. We feed the monkeys with banana, and the turtles and tortoise, we feed them with vegetables, banana, mushrooms. The ostriches are more of vegetarians. We feed them with vegetables and feet. The quails here also, we feed them with their feet. The carnivorous, the crocodiles are known to be voracious eaters. We feed them with flesh, and only flesh, because they are flesh eaters.
Oyekomi Edward intimates us about the use of plants in the museum.
In this section, we have posters on economic plants. And the first which I would like to talk about is Moringa oleifera. This plant, the protein in the leaf is 4 times protein in milk. Vitamin A in it is 7 times vitamin A in carrot. And vitamin C in it is 7 times vitamin C in citrus. Highly nutritious and is equally very medicinal. Currently, in some hospitals, the leaf extracts are being used to boost the immune system of HIV/AIDS patients.
Professor Kola Badejo explains the parable of the ostrich.
Can we pray the do you know that the ostrich, the eyeball bigger than the brain? Yes. But that's not to say that it's not a wise animal. But this notion of somebody playing the ostrich when you are hiding behind a broomstick is actually a misconception. Ostrich, it lives in the wild, in savannah, and can be preyed upon by lions, tigers, and all that. So when it's being pursued by a predator, what it does is that it just hides his head in the sand by just making it parallel to the floor. But the rest of the body will now cover the leg, and the predator will not recognize it as a bird anymore. Then it will just look like the termite mound. So in many cases, the predator will just jump over it and run away. So it's its own way of preventing predation. But the interpretation given to it by one author I think in the 18th century was that when the ostrich hides his head in the sand, feels that that the rest of the body is no longer visible, whereas it's a very clever way of avoiding predation. Because when he does that, it doesn't look like an ostrich anymore, and the predator will just jump it over or be discouraged on the leaf. So that's one correction, I think, and that's why I christened my graduates ostrich kids, because I know that there's an advantage to being an ostrich. They have hidden talent. Do you know it's faster than the ostrich? Ostrich to run faster than the ostrich. But you know, because they're always in captivity, there's no way to test. But if you watch them very early in the morning, they jog around. They are very restless. They move around.
For Emmanuel Faboyede, the acting university librarian, the museum is indeed a tourist attraction to behold.
The museum is a very good tourist center. Because I've witnessed so many students, people coming to Wesley University of Science and Technology to have a look at what we have here. And at the end of the visit, they're always very happy. Right now, since the museum also houses the library, so when you come to the museum, naturally you would like to visit the library, because right from the museum you can as well see the entire library. So that with what we have now, in the next few years, I can see a rapid development, because the rate the museum is developing is at alarming rate. And when the people that visited this place last year, you see a lot of development of the museum. So that when you look at the museum now, like I said before, is in a year or 2 years, that name, meaning, will no more be there.
Because before I came into WUSTO, actually, what actually brought about my desire was a thing of discipline and moral regeneration, rather. But when I eventually came into the school, the experience has been wonderful. Talking of the best teachers, the best lecturers, the best professors as far as the field of mass comm is concerned. And that of experience, I can tell you today that even while I'm still in school, like, I'm proud to be a TV producer director, because it's not just about what I learned on paper. I've gotten the whole experience as a result of the exposure Wesley WUSTO has given me. One big advantage is the sense of security compared to other schools. Here in WUSTO, when I initially came in, I saw it as imprisonment. You can't go out on your own. You can't leave without the consent of the school authority. But now that I'm in my final year, I've discovered that you're trying to protect us, give us the best security. And all through my 4 years, no students have been kidnapped. I've not heard of any instance of any students being missing. So security is one thing that WUSTO has guaranteed its students, and I'm privileged to be one of those.
I like this school because talking about our motto here, knowledge and character for development, it's the best you can ever have as a student. Wesley University is all to come in with. We have other universities outside the world, but when you're in Wesley University of Science and Technology, you can get everything you want, starting from the lecturers, the VC, the registrar, everybody we have. They are all together just to give you the best education you can ever have.
That was our package for today. WUSTO is indeed gearing up for a sustainable agricultural system that is ecologically sound, economically viable and socially responsible in order to boost our natural history as a country. They have indeed given science a different definition. To know more about the program, you can visit our website www.promantraservices.com, and you can like us on our Facebook page Economy Today on NTAI. To watch our previous episode, you can visit www.youtube.com/Economy Today on NTAI. This is yours truly, Zainab Obetin. To all of you, our esteemed sponsors, and of course our viewers, we say thank you for watching. And from the entire crew of Economy Today, we wish you a fulfilled weekend. But remember, wash your hands always and maintain a healthy habits. See you next week.